Hey yo, what is going on you guys? It's your boy Aceox! And I'm back with another reaction. This time I'm going to react to Asylum is finally here by Painticus. Yes, it's been quite some time since we reacted to a Painticus video. It's not because I didn't want to, it's because I found so many videos. My watch later playlist is already overflowing. But yeah, I wanted to watch this because Painticus, for one, I liked his granny video. It was really well done. And also Asylum. Probably, I'm guessing it's a horror game. And it's something apparently he awaited for a long time. At least that's what the title implies. I don't know that game. So yeah, I am interested. I'm excited. I want to see what this game is and why he is, or why he was so excited for it. But yeah, before we start, like always, go into the video description, click the first link in the video description under the credits tab to get to the original video by Painticus. Leave him a like, leave him a comment, tell him Asylum, more like Asylum. Ooh, gangsta shit. Bars. Tell him that. And obviously subscribe to him. He deserves it. He makes some good videos, and I am excited to see where this is going. What this game is all about. Why he was so excited for it. I'm excited. Are you excited? I hope so. Cause if not, then get excited, bitch. What the fuck are you doing here if you're not excited, huh? Do I have to do everything for you? Alright, watch this. Are you excited now? I hope so. Otherwise, I'm gonna put my stinky feet in your face. And I don't even have feet. Think about that. Really think about that. Alright, I scrolled up, I zoomed out. So without further ado, here we go!
In 2006, the video game Scratches was released.
I don't know that one either.
Very happy and been widely considered a good move. And despite the diminishing popularity of point-and-click adventure games, and spooky ones in particular,
it's a point-and-click adventure.
A cult icon of horror at large to this day. For good reason, too. It was a masterclass in atmosphere and, dare I say, vibe that many, if not most, games struggle to keep up with. So for many years, fans of the game have eagerly awaited some kind of follow-up project. And while
I don't know what it is, but horror point-and-click games really scratch a really weird itch I have. Scratch, get it? Scratches? That's what he's currently talking about. Yeah, I'm funny. I know, I'm funny. You can clap now. You can clap now. Applaud. Applaud me, bitch. Fucking don't take my jokes for granted. It's rare that I have a funny joke like that. So appreciate it properly, motherfucker. I remember the old Flash games, point-and-click horror games. They were the spookiest, way spookier, because point-and-click games have these weird limitations to them. You don't really know what the game can and cannot do, since it's a point-and-click game. And so I feel like it's the perfect grounds for horror, because you don't know. You don't know. Will there be a chase scene? Is that even possible for a point-and-click game? Will there be jump scares? And if so, will there be pop-up jump scares or proper jump scares? Pop jump scares are just shit. I hate them. But yeah. So yeah, that's why I think point-and-click games are a perfect match for horror. The horror genre. So yeah, I'm excited. I never heard of this game, never heard of Scratches, never heard of Asylum, never heard of any of them. I don't play point-and-click games, mainly because, like I said, I played some of the old school Flash horror point-and-click games, and it spooked me so much that I don't touch this genre anymore. It's, no. I need control. I get it, yeah, horror is about taking away your control to make you scared, because you're like, I need the control, give it back, bitch! But yeah, no, not to that degree. No, thank you. But I'll stick to watching videos about these sorts of games, because then it's fun. So yeah, let's continue. Let's see what this is all about. What is Scratches? What is Asylum? Does Painticus have a big dick or a small dick? That's important. That's an important question to ask. Because if it's a big dick, he's going to hell, as we all know. If he has a small dick, he's going to heaven. If he has a super tiny dick, he's going to super heaven. What's the difference between heaven and super heaven? In super heaven, you're surrounded by people with tiny dicks. And that's a good thing. I know it does not sound good, but it is. It is a joy to be there. I've been there, but then I was forced into this life for some reason, and I'm now in a world where people don't fucking properly appreciate the small penises. So it's my duty to make sure the small penises are heard, the small penises are worshipped, and the small penises will go to heaven. Tiny penises go to super heaven. There's a difference. And big dicks go to hell. Go to hell if you have a big dick. I don't associate with people like you. That's the case. So we gotta know, penis, small, big, or tiny? I need to know. Or no penis at all. Then you go to women heaven. That's a different heaven. You know, after some weird people somehow managed to get into heaven, we had to segregate heaven into, you know, split it up into a man heaven and woman heaven. So yeah, if you have no penis, you're going to women heaven. Yeah, but if you have a big vagina, you're going to women hell, because we also split that one up as well. Yeah, they were having too much fun. Alright, okay. Shut the fuck up, AceoX. Continue, please.
Short game Serena, it didn't fully scratch the same
Another
itch,
one
but eventually,
I don't know.
Asylum was announced, with a release date of 2013.
I'm guessing it's by the same developers?
2013 at last. The game came out last week, just over 19 years since Scratch's release. Let's take a look.
Holy
In
shit.
Asylum, we take the role
Okay,
of
that's a long time.
to the foreboding and seemingly abandoned Hanwell Mental Institute in an attempt to piece together the fragmented and traumatic memories he sustained during his stay there many years ago.
Alright, so
As is so
typical
often the case,
horror story.
The horrors begin immediately. We find out that the asylum is not as abandoned as we thought.
Just looking at this kind of creeps me out, man.
Full of people trying to fucking gentrify our horrific torture building. They're gonna try and turn it into like a nice place.
There are people!
Actually helped and shit.
What?
At least that's the implication. I know exactly
Boo!
what is feeling at this moment. My old high school or secondary school got turned into high-end flats. You're telling me the classroom in which I realized I'd never achieve my childhood dreams is now someone's goddamn family room? There's probably some kid in there playing Fortnite and being actively haunted by the ghost of my innocence right now. Unbelievable.
Damn.
Anyway, yes,
it is.
after a period of
Damn.
being genuinely
What the
abandoned, is being reopened and refurbished, and tonight is the last night we can ever explore it before it is changed forever.
It's an interesting premise.
I appreciate that it's not a story of, oh, there are scary people or ghosts in this scary abandoned building over here. And instead, it's about people trying to get a pretty mundane job done, while you, the player, are the weird guy poking around. And while this is how the game goes, I personally experienced something a little different. Because for me, it immediately loaded into the save file I had from the 2020 demo of the game, which was a little confusing. I don't think they were counting on me still having this save file, especially since they removed the demo from Steam a little while before the full release. However, it did seem that I could seamlessly continue playing from that point, so who knows, maybe it was planned. But I started fresh, anyway. And as was expected, the moment-to-moment gameplay and exploration of Asylum is very reminiscent of Scratch's. The details in the environments are wonderful and eloquently described, and the off-putting stillness of everything returns as well. Especially when you step outside and see this oddly still forest. Crikey. But at least the ocean is there.
Forests.
That's nice. Talking about the ocean, sometimes when you're walking around inspecting things, your character will say some frankly deranged, tortured poet-style shit. One moment you'll be looking out at the landscape through a murky window and he'll go from, this window provides a nice view of the water, to, we will one day return to the accursed waves, or something.
What?
I see a lot of myself in this guy. And one last thing on the geography of this place, we're really isolated, much like we were in Scratches and like 70% of all horror settings ever. The Asylum is far removed from the rest of civilization, being nestled in deep woods, flanked by a treacherous cliff on one end and a looming mountain on the other.
And they wanna reopen that shit. Why? If you can't even get there properly, easily, how do they plan on if a patient goes crazy and kills people? You know, it'll take forever for the police to show up. So what the fuck, man? They wanna reopen that shit. They are the crazy ones. They are the crazy ones. I figured it out. We are the sane ones. Just cause we eat our own shit doesn't mean that they are normal, cause they don't eat their own shit. No, they are the weird ones. How can you turn down such awesome, nutritious food? You have to be insane to turn something awesome like that down. I'd never turn down my own poop unless it stinks. Which it does. Alright, maybe I'm the insane one. Alright, I admit defeat. But this war isn't over. You won this fight. Imaginary person. I'm not even talking to anyone, so I'm losing the fight against myself. Damn! That's AceoX style. AceoX style. Hell yeah, I make a straw man fucking argument and the straw man wins. That's a perfect analogy of the essence of being AceoX, of being a tortured genius. That's totally not fucking narcissistic as fuck. It's the truth. The truth doesn't lie. Sometimes it does. I admit, yeah, the truth sometimes lied to me. I did not appreciate that. I did not appreciate it at all.
We unfortunately never get to see the top of the mountain, so as of now, there has been no mention of peak. But this physical isolation plays less of a role than I thought it would. If anything, through the story of inbound construction workers and the general reopening of the asylum, we feel quite connected to the outside world. Where the unease in the game comes from is instead in the ever-present race against time that the game is implying. It manages this in quite a cool way. We're told that the morning is our cutoff point for exploration, and whenever we make significant progress, the game
very
shifts
unique.
forward by an hour. A similar thing is done in Scratches, but it's much more of a thing here. Although this tie between time and game progress means some of the hours are substantially shorter than some others. I, for one, blame daylight savings. Something you do quite a lot of in the game is talk to people, and by talk to people I mean bother them while they try to work. Most events and objectives and people you meet pop up in your little notebook as dialogue options, not dissimilar to games like LA Noire. The most merciful thing in the world, I think, is the ability of this small notebook to correlate all of my thoughts and objectives. There's quite a lot of information thrown at you in the game, and this little fella is very helpful. You can be very thorough.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
As well, as you can bring up basically any topic to any of the characters you meet. Though, most of the time, if it's not a relevant character to your line of questioning, they hit you with some variation of, "Stop talking to me about that, please leave me alone." When I played, I did notice that there were some dialogue audios missing, but that's because at least some of the voice acting and all of the player characters' voice acting was redone in the weeks leading up to the game's release.
What the hell?
Weeks. You can't really tell though, the voice work is really nice. Plus they've already patched in a lot of the missing audio since I played. There is something quite funny you can do with the dialogue system. You can show people any of the key items you've picked up and they'll usually have something bespoke to say about it. And usually it's like, "Oh, why do you have that?"
Look at this piece of glass.
Oh, that's nice.
Despite not actually
great
a reconstruction effort, we're trusted to.
That dude looked like he was like, damn, okay, I did not realize I'm talking to a crazy person. I'm just gonna say it's nice, yeah. I don't want to make him angry by insulting his favorite piece of glass. Poor guy, man. Just imagine some random guy coming up to you and showing you like, "Hey, dude, look at this. I found this leaf. I found this leaf in the forest." And it doesn't even, say something like, "Isn't it cool?" He's just like expecting you to understand what he's trying to show you, which is the truth, that the leaves are hidden in the leaves. When Naruto is... Get it? I tried, okay? I tried, yeah. I tried. Now look at this piece of glass. Beautiful. I know, like me. God damn it, I can't. Why do I keep praising myself today? What is wrong with me? That's not me. I'm being haunted. I need an exorcism, I think. I'll try it through an enema. Should work, right? Pooping out the ghost usually works.
Walk around this place that's in an incredible state of disrepair on the stipulation that we behave ourselves. Naturally, the first key item we pick up is a knife.
Damn.
It's a letter opener, which isn't super dangerous, but it is the counter to that pesky pen which beats most other blades. While exploring, we begin to piece together parts of our past, and we discover that we were part of the ominous-sounding Group E. Not to be confused with those people that follow musicians around and try to...
Groupie. Okay.
A therapy group made up of various patients who, towards the end of the asylum's previous operation, were at the center of some grim event that led to its initial closure. A grim event that nobody seems to be willing to talk about. I'm starting to think there's something spooky afoot. Close enough. Some of the notes you stumble across while piecing together the story are brutally detailed, as you would expect from notes left behind by psychiatrists and clinical psychologists.
Yeah.
Recall discovering firsthand in real life the stark tonal difference between a GP or mental health nurse and a psychiatrist. The GP and nurse were incredibly warm and patient and allowed me to speak freely about what I thought was wrong with me, and they did their best to comfort me along the way. Then I met the psychiatrist. Now, he didn't exactly say this, but the general vibe was,
"Spare me your story. I've had my henchmen comb your mind.
I know.
And then he gave me a life-changing diagnosis and told me to leave, all in the span of like 4 minutes.
Yeah! Fucking psychiatrists, man! You know, there are psychologists, there are differences in Germany. There are psychologists and psychiatrists. Psychiatrists are the ones that prescribe you medicine, you know, the good shit. And psychologists are the ones you talk to, at least here in Germany. I don't know how it works in the rest of the world, but that's how it is in Germany. And the psychiatrists, they're so fucking... I always pisses me off whenever I have an appointment with my psychiatrist, because, you know, my meds are running out. I always am early for the appointment, have to wait over an hour, and then only get like a minute or so to talk. And then it's like, okay, I'll prescribe you the new shit, there you go, bye. See you in half a year. And I'm like, damn, I waited fucking long for this, just to be kicked out, man. It fucking sucks. I really don't like psychiatrists. They're fucking cold and don't give a shit. To them, you're just a number. Patient number, whatever the fuck. Oh yeah, the ugly one. Yeah. I'll prescribe you some heavy meds and I'm not gonna check up on you for over 7 months. Goodbye, soldier. And then they rush you out and expect you to be like, oh, thank you. Yeah, let me suck your dick. Let me suck your dick, bitch. I don't like it. They're so full of themselves as well. While the psychologists, the ones that talk to you, are the ones doing the actual work, in my opinion. The meds are... I mean, the psychiatrists only prescribe you meds. Make sure you get them, that's all. That's all they do. They're fucking useless. And they sit on a fucking throne and be like, yeah, I'm the king, bitch. I'm the king, I'm a psychiatrist. No, you're nothing. You're not even a peasant. Your job can be replaced by the fucking AI in a second. Cause all you gotta do is prescribe medicine, that's all. That's all. You're not even the one that figures out what medicine you should get. That's what everyone else figures out for you. You're just prescribing it, that's it. And checking up every now and then. Is everything alright? Is the medication amount, is that good? Or do you want more? Or should we reduce it? Alright, okay, yeah. We'll check your blood in 7 months. And in 12 months we'll talk again, bye. Fucking, I don't like him. I totally understand where he's coming from. The psychologists, on the other hand, they are doing work. They are doing work. They are doing what you expect of psychologists. Understanding the topic, listening to you, listening and understanding, finding solutions to problems together with you, figuring out what your underlying issue is and how we can work on fixing that. The psychiatrists are just lazy bums that make a ton of money by doing nothing except prescribing medicine. That's it. They barely check up on you. Maybe once in a blue moon they test your blood if your fucking blood stats are alright. But that's it. There's nothing else happening. It's fucking useless profession, man. Just replace them already. No one likes them. Not the psychologists, so they're different. They're a different breed. They are the actual doctors, you know. They are the ones that usually give a shit simply because, well, they have to talk to you for an hour or so pretty regularly. So, yeah, that's a skill you should have as a psychologist, getting along with people, trying to help them, understanding them, listening instead of talking and pumping us full of fucking meds we might not even need. Maybe all we need is some behavioral therapy and that's it. Learning how to cope with our issue is better than fucking suppressing our issues with goddamn chemicals. I am very opinionated on that topic because it really affects me. But I'm gonna cut it short. This is not the place, not the time. But I understand Painticus. The psychiatrists are the assholes. I don't like it. And if you've been to a mental wellness center, is it called? Is it a mental wellness center? Mental health center? Something like that. You know, the sequel to Asylums. Because insane asylums were just like prisons for the clinically insane, and it was fucking horrifying. But then it got all shut down, and instead they have now these mental health hospitals and stuff like that. Yeah, that's where I was. I don't want to go back, man. No matter how hard it gets, it's that place. The crazy people in there aren't the patients. The crazy people in there are the goddamn doctors. They are fucking crazy. They are making us crazy. I remember I got new meds in there, and I immediately had really shit side effects from them, and doctor did whatever he did for all the others as well. He just said, that's not from the meds. Don't worry, that's not the meds. Maybe it's the cleaning solution we use. I'll talk to the janitor. That's it. Every time you talk about, for example, I had the side effect that my eyes kept unfocusing. I couldn't focus, no matter how close or far away I held something at random intervals throughout the day. And that's something someone else also had who got the same meds as I did. And I talked about it and they always shut it down. They always said, it's not the meds. Don't worry, it's not the meds. Then what is it? Why are you lying to us? I get that they're trying to destigmatize medicine, but fucking at least be honest. If it's a side effect, then fucking tell me, man. Don't fucking, they're making us crazier by doing that shit, you know? It's fucking, they don't give a fuck. They are the ones that enjoy dissecting you. That's the type of doctors that are in there. It's fucking, I hated it. I hated it. They are so cold. They treat you like an object. They don't give a fucking shit about you. And they only care if somehow judgment would befall them, which almost happened because a newspaper was investigating the mental health hospital I was in, but unfortunately nothing came up from it because the mental health hospital is really, that specific one is very good at denying any and all requests for anything. They don't want the outside to see shit in there. And since I was in there, I know why. It's not torture and stuff like that, but it's malpractice. It is fucking unbelievable standards because you gotta live in there. You gotta live in there. That's the issue. If I was forced to live in there 24/7 for months, then it wouldn't be an issue. But you know, having to sleep with fucking 3 other people that have some serious issues, dude. For some reason, the mental health hospital was so overfilled, so overflowing. They had different stations for different types of patients, but they were so overflowing with patient intake that they pretty much put everyone wherever they had some space left. So they crammed everyone into tiny rooms, and also people that shouldn't really interact with one another. For example, I was there for depression and stuff like that, and fearful stuff, anxiety, all that shit. Additionally to emetophobia, which is the fear of throwing up or puke or vomit and stuff like that. And I was put in a room with 3 other dudes that fucking were alcoholics, where puking isn't that abnormal. It happens. And the issue is, since I wasn't, you know, an alcoholic, I had no restrictions as to what medications I could get, for example, against nausea. And some nausea things contain alcohol, even if it's just tiny amounts. And you put alcoholics into a room with someone like me who feels nauseous and takes a medicine that has a little bit of alcohol in it. Do you think that's going to be fine? No, dude, I don't know how, but I could tell that at least one of my roommates immediately somehow managed to smell the alcohol in that solution that helps against nausea I took. I don't know how, but he sensed that shit. He sensed it. He wasn't feeling good at all. And you put us together, and I'm afraid because they kept puking and stuff like that. Well, I mean, it's not that, you know, alcoholics and drug addicts and medication addicts, all this stuff. They're here for getting rid of their addiction, and that usually contains stuff like vomiting. Something that back in the day put me in a fucking panic attack. It gave me a fucking panic attack every time it happened, and that's the shit you had to live in for months before you were even allowed to leave at least an hour a day or something like that. It was like prison. It was like prison, which was the fucked up thing, because I wasn't in the closed mental health hospital thing that's more like an asylum was back in the day, you know, like a prison. No, I was in an open one, and they still put people that were supposed to go to the, you know, the closed one, you know, going into basically a psychological prison, going to fucking insane asylum for the criminal insane and stuff like that. They were put also into rooms with us, even though they're supposed to be in a completely different facility. Just think about that. It's no wonder they blocked any and all requests, even from the government. Even some of the government was continuously blocked by the mental health hospital, seeing documents and documentation and stuff like that, because they did not want to let anything like that get out. And you know, someone like me talking about it is no problem for them, because I was a patient there. I'm a crazy. I tell crazy things. No one can believe me is what they think. Yeah. Okay, I said I didn't want to talk about that, but I did. So my bad. Let's get to the video. Let's get back to the video. God damn it. damn it. I talked about a topic that isn't really... I mean, it's kind of connected. You know, Asylum, an insane asylum this game is about, you know, he talked about his experience with psychiatrists. It kind of fits. So I'll allow it this time, AceoX, but next time you get a spanking on your ball sack. So don't disappoint me, my boy. Yes, bitch! I won't disappoint you, bitch! That's good. Let's cook. We have to cook meth, Jesse.
Turns out he was bang on correct. The guy that clearly didn't give a shit about me beyond being his 2:15 p.m. appointment has positively impacted my life more than any other medical professional. Is that a normal experience? I have no idea. It certainly wasn't the experience of the folks in Asylum, whose medical professionals seem to have done quite a poor job. In fact, do you want to know just...
What the fuck? No, the psychiatrists say usually... I mean, it's a good thing if it worked for him, but that's... I can vouch that it's usually not the case. It's best to go to therapy. Therapy is so much better than medication. Sure, sometimes you cannot get around. Like in my case, I have... my brain chemicals are automatically at an imbalance, and the meds fix that. I can't fix it myself. It doesn't work. So, yeah, in that case, you know, you have to do both. But if you don't have to take meds, then definitely instead just go for therapy. It's better. It's a lot better. You can do so much. You can learn so much to cope with things. It makes life easier. While chemicals you put into your body will just help you suppress something, and that's it. While therapy can give you some serious life advice you could need in a lot of cases. That's really useful and stuff like that. So yeah. That should be your first option. Make it your first. Do it now. I'll take a quick break and I'll be back in a second. Yeah. I am back. Who would have thought? Not me. Just kidding. I knew I'd be back. I'm always going back. Yeah. I wanted to finish up this whole, you know, mental health talk. Just wanted to mention something. A good example of why therapy is a good tool to help you essentially cope with issues you have in life, find ways to deal with that shit, is, for example, the fact that I can talk quite openly about my problems and experiences and everything. Back in the day, I was kind of, you know, closed off, but not so much anymore. I have nothing to lose by telling people that I'm a crazy that I'm a crazy fuck. But that's a good thing, because, you know, I've been pretty much in therapy all my life, so it's a skill I quickly developed. Because if you really need help right now in the moment, it's difficult if you cannot open up to a mental health specialist. So instead, you know, they gotta first figure out they can get you to open up to them so they can start actually helping you. And if you can skip that step, like I can, it's a good thing. It's a good thing. You'll get things done quicker, easier, and with less hassle, and the professionals can do their job. It's a good thing. It's a good thing. Also, talking about it openly is also, I'd say, a good skill to have, because it's not something you need to hide, in my opinion. I think the ones that don't have any problems in their lives are the crazy ones, because that's not normal. That's not fucking normal. You know, life isn't fucking an endless cum shot. An endless climax. No, it's a roller coaster, you know, it goes up, sometimes it goes down, and the people that pretend that there's no downs in their lives, you gotta be careful of those, gotta be wary of those. They are usually the most fucked up in my experience, cause that's not normal. That's not normal. Life is a giving and taking. Sometimes you give the penis, sometimes you take the penis. That's how it works. One's in the ass and one's in the penis. Yeah.
Freaking crazy the patients and staff here were. They decided to do Minecraft IRL. And just like many of its kind, the Hanwell survival multiplayer project ended in several irreparably damaged careers and a series of extreme yet well-founded allegations. I appreciate that they made most, if not all, of the doctor characters pretty bad people. There's one that is very much morally better than the others, but even then, that doctor is almost entirely self-interested. I like that. It's fun.
A lot doctors are actually like that, so yeah.
In regard to some medical breakthrough, this is greater than mankind itself, even greater than me. And honestly, that's the exact brand of egomaniacal positive reinforcement I need to start.
That's an insane sentence. It would make sense if it was flipped. It's bigger than me. It's even bigger than, what was it? Mankind itself. But no, it's the other way around. That's the insane thing. That dude is saying he is greater than mankind. You know, that's what this sentence structure implies. That is crazy. That is crazy, unless we're talking about me, then it's the truth. Then it's the truth. And we all know the truth can be crazy. So worship me. Worship me. I demand a sacrifice of moldy bread like every second day. And if you don't, I'm gonna curse you and your whole lineage. You'll never have rotting, spoiled food in your life if you don't sacrifice fucking moldy bread to me on a regular basis. You don't want that, cause your food isn't going to rot ever. Do you want that? Do you want that? No, you don't. You want rotting food. So fucking worship me or you'll never have rotten food ever again. No, that's a scary thought, right? That's a world you don't want to live in. At least I wouldn't, yeah.
That's the exact brand of egomaniacal positive reinforcement I need to start harnessing more of on this channel. If you're not a big fan of reading, you'll likely not love the way the story is told, but if you do like a read, the notes are very compelling. There's a few different types you can find, including secret correspondence between conspiring parties, personal journal entries, medical documents, and news stories, among others. Their placement doesn't always make a tremendous amount of sense in the environment, but just remember, this place is crazy. If they wanted to make a game about a normal, nice place, they would have just called it Asylum. Now, to talk more about the story and what's actually going on, that kind of is the biggest part of the game, and I don't want to spoil more than I have to. So the rest of the video may feel a little unfocused, but that's because I'm trying to keep things vague. Some of the areas are super ominous. The Tunnel of the Damned having that red fog was horrible, even if there was nobody in there at the time.
That's fucking creepy.
Matched the basement in Scratches yet, though. That was very special. Oh, never mind. Some of the rooms look like Silent Hill boss rooms as well. Check this one out. This looks like the kind of room in which you'd fight the personification of James Sunderland's penchant for the snooze button.
Do you know how heavy those steel grate whatever the fuck frames for beds are? They are fucking heavy. How the fuck did they throw them on top of each other like that? It looks like someone, you know, just took them and threw them on a pile. That's not how it works. That's not, they are heavy. They are fucking heavy. How the hell did they, how? Is Superman living in there? That's a true horror. What do you think about that, Patrick? Huh? What do you think about that? Oh yeah, he's still perpetually nodding. So let's leave him at that. He has no thoughts behind his eyes, so.
General, there's a lot of macabre scenery going on, which really aids the archaic medical institute vibe. I always love seeing the weird and they used to just probe into people's brains.
Yeah.
It's like they were nostalgic for medieval torture. I have no idea if any of these horrible things ever actually helped anyone, but you'd be surprised what tools can save a life. And I, for...
Yeah, true, but nah. I think it destroyed more people than it helped people. Fucking destroyed them. I mean, what is it called? The thing that with the ice pick that it threw the eye up into the brain and then wriggled it around. What was it called? Lobotomy. There we go. They lobotomized people, and sure, there were probably some people that benefited somehow from that, but I'd say the most did not, especially if it was forced, because that shit fucked them up, man. So basically, yeah, insane asylums back in the day, you know, the actual insane asylums, they were the darkest fucking place. I'd rather go to medieval jail than go to a goddamn insane asylum back in the day, because they didn't give a shit. They pretended they did all that shit for the benefit of mankind, figuring out how all these people are so crazy and how we can make them not crazy by fucking torturing them and experimenting on them. Yeah, right. No, if you're willing to do shit like they did in insane asylums to people, you know that person is a fucking psychopath who enjoys torturing others he sees as less than them. It's usually the case with the, like for example, the Japanese unit, I don't know the numbers, you know, that experimented on prisoners of war and stuff like that, or the Nazi doctors and stuff like that. It's, you know, someone who does that to another human being isn't doing it for the benefit of mankind. They're doing it because they enjoy hurting people and making them suffer in various ways. So yeah, no, I don't know. They're not good people. They try to delude themselves into thinking that, but no, they'll never be considered good people after doing something so heinous. And insane asylums, just read up like a couple paragraphs on Wikipedia and you'll know that those places were no joke. They were no joke. They were the fucking darkest corners of fucking humanity back in the day. So yeah, good thing nowadays the mental health hospitals they're still shit, but it's at least it's manageable, while insane asylums were just hell on earth.
I'm glad they managed to characterize the setting so well through stuff like that, and without using any of the really scary shit like like bones and skeletons and such.
Yeah, but
No. Talking about medical horror.
Fake! I was about to say skeletons don't exist. They don't exist. We are fleshy flesh beings. We don't have skeletons in us. That's the things they used to scare you, so you wouldn't eat your own flesh. That's it, yeah. But you showed skeletons. Those are fake. Those are definitely fake, because skeletons don't exist. They're made up. And if you see a skeleton, it's made out of goddamn packaging material.
Check out this horrid thing. There are few things more off-putting than a human
It's me!
on an animal body, and mixing that with the whole medical theme is grim.
The ears look like the fucking receding hairline.
Paint wasn't one of them. Alright, Jesus. At one point, I come over to a man's cell and torment him until he decides to break the glass panel on the door, and somehow he's the bad guy in this equation. We have to use an item to calm him down, and the first thing we bring out to try is a pair of wire cutters.
What the fuck?
Scariest thing in this whole place. Every so often I come
what the fuck?
like this, and it makes me desperately want to be graded on things such as interest in topics and sense of humor. That being said, I don't trust any of you to grade me in such a way, and any comments that copy this format will be frowned upon.
Alright, but I'm not a comment. I am a person reacting to your video. So, alertness. Yeah, that's pretty good. I'd say a 50. Attention. I'd say a 52. Attitude. No, that's a good 100. Yeah. I don't know. I don't even know what the numbers are. Like, how far can it go? How many points can I give him? And sense of humor? I like it. I'll give it a 200. Comprehension? Maybe a 5. Memory? Maybe a 1. We are similar in that regard, I feel like. Judgment? He's not a good judge of character, but I am. Yeah, I'm pretending I have any idea what he is like. I don't. But here's your list. I did not even finish it because I am, when it comes to interest in topics, I'm a 0. When it comes to expressivity, I'm a 0. When it comes to attitude, I'm 100. Attention, 0. Alertness, 0. Judgment, 0. Knowledge, 0. Memory, 0. Sense of humor, 1. Comprehension, -10. That's me. So yeah, I'm not even gonna finish your list. That's my attitude. Get it? That's why I have such a high attitude rating. Yeah.
Not that I've got a bad attitude or judgment, that is. There's a more you can find, and in it there's a puzzle to do, but more interestingly, there's a log of the bodies stored there. Bram Stoker and Mary Shelley have ended up here. This is unrelated, but I've always thought that Bram Stoker sounds like some kind of 1700s British industrial device. And, and Mary Shelley sounds like an affable crab. This is just one of the many examples in Asylum where the developers include
true actually
references to other bits of media, especially those that directly inspired the game. And it wears those inspirations proudly, especially when it comes to 70s and 80s horror movies. I will say that sometimes the more jokey references can hurt the tone of the game a little, but this is an issue that's in a tremendous amount of contemporary media, and none of it goes as far to damage the atmosphere as things like Visage had with its very egregious examples. Personally, I prefer my references a little more subtle, but to each their own. There are, of course, a lot of references to scratches, especially when talking to the Dr. Miller character. He's voiced by the same guy that did Jerry in Scratches, and the game enjoys poking the fourth wall a bit with that.
Maybe I should have watched the video on Scratches first.
Because of the general
just realized
despair of the Asylum, it's hard to place what year the game takes place in. It may be stated outright in one of the notes, but I never clocked it. I'd guess it's in the mid-70s at earliest, because I believe there's a mention of an MRI scanner, but it'd be really funny if the whole game took place in, like, 2018. I don't think we can rule out that possibility. The game's menu it takes the form of this book, which tracks a load of things, and a lot of the settings and menu options are in character for the game, which is a fun little detail. My favorite
that's really cool. I like stuff like that.
Changes depending on what you've done in the game. I'm not sure how it works exactly, but I think it's a sort of achievement tracker, although I prefer to think of it like a Metal Gear Solid codename. Diagnosis. Doberman. As the game progresses and the clock moves forward, there's a subtle tone shift that I enjoyed very much. Well, initially the game seems to be about the horrors of medical malpractice and the inhumane treatment of society's most vulnerable, which itself is a wonderful setup for a horror game. What it adds on top of that, and ultimately turns into, is just as good, if not better, in my opinion.
Yeah, but what did
I
this
knew that
turn
there were
into?
certain inspirations behind this game. I did not expect it to lean into them as much as it did. Scratches had a similar thing going on, but it refrained from fully committing to them, and I expected this to be the same. I understand that I'm speaking incredibly vaguely right now, but that's for good reason.
Okay, so it doesn't want to spoiler.
Paced and full of very interesting developments. And
Alright, okay, I'll take your word for
if
it.
this game is anything to go by, it takes around 3 hours for the human mind to go from I'm going to quietly take a look around to I will perform surgery on a corpse. And it takes around 5
What the fuck was that?
from don't worry, I won't touch anything important to I will perform surgery on my own brain.
What the fuck?
Like that song about margaritas. Sometimes I think I can hear the protagonist's voice actor slip into what sounds like an Australian accent. I believe the actor is English, but an Englishman doing an American accent can sound Australian.
Oh, Anwell, we need to cure this patient.
Did you try the brain stabber? Some of the other characters' designs have a...
He has a point, he has a point.
And by some characters, I mean specifically Lenny. The rest look more or less normal. But there's definitely something suspicious about Julia's eyes, though. I can't quite put my finger on it. This is what...
They're kind of high up, it's the nose. The nose is very long.
It also turns out that brain tissue samples look shockingly like those images we use to sneak messages past colorblind people. Some of the other visuals are pretty...
What?
ghastly. There's one flashback in particular which was quite something. I mean, this guy is running in the corridors. That's just not on. Talking about corridors, sometimes when you move from one area to another, the version that is previewed, for lack of a better term, during the transition...
It's weird, those are flashbacks, right? Because it's not in the game's universe, it's not yet in use again, right? It was in use, and it wasn't, and now they wanna put it to use again, right? That was the thing. So is he seeing, like, scenes from the past, flashbacks or something like that? Because how the hell did he torture the patient before? Are there patients still there? Nah, right? Nah. I am mega confusion. Right yesterday.
Is not the same as the final reality. I don't know if that's due to a developer oversight or if it's a reflection of our character's psychosis, but it definitely felt like the latter, especially in examples like this. I mean, the layout of the asylum itself is quite maddening, which I appreciate. Spiraling staircases, endless hallways, and impossible to access doors feel like they'd invite some level of paranoia. Or at least that's what I choose to believe is going on. There's a nice set of rooms where you can see the art that the patients have made during their stay. I like these glimpses into therapies that don't involve beating people and leaving them in Silent Hill basements. Mental illness be damned, my boy can sculpt. I really appreciate that the mentally ill people in the game are not the villains, like, at all. They're all painted in a very sympathetic light. There is the high-risk inmate character who poses something of a threat, but he's just another victim of poor care. He's someone who is clearly shown to have very specific sensory needs that are not being accommodated for in the slightest. Plus, again, it's hard to paint the mentally ill people as the villains when there's a brain-stabbing device. Throughout the game, I found myself doing something I adore.
Exactly.
And that is writing notes on paper in real life. I so rarely have to do that anymore. Most games don't really require it. But a lot of unfortunately require you to juggle a fair bit of information, and only so much is saved in your in-game notepad. And fun fact, I spent a full 20 minutes searching my flat for some kind of notebook to write in, and what I ended up finding were a bunch of old, used ones from a few years ago. And these bastards contain the full scripts for the first, 3 years of this channel, if not more. Mark my words, these will be worth at least 3 minutes of flame in the communal fire. At the end of Asylum,
Damn!
9 hours.
Don't be so hard on yourself!
It was probably closer to 7. I often write these scripts in part as I play the games, so that tends to inflate the time a little. In the end, I missed 2 documents in the whole game.
That's an interesting thing. I heard quite a lot, actually, that people do that. I really cannot do that. I just can't. It's like, it gets so unstructured if I write down my thoughts and stuff like that, and while I'm still playing. So when I talk about something, I originally planned to make a video on my other channel, on my AceoxReacts channel, about Jack 2's mission. I wanted to rate each mission, but I gave up on it. I want to do reactions instead. Maybe I'll go back to it one day, but yeah, the project file was riddled with issues. Couldn't even open it properly and had to keep making new timelines and import the timelines, and it still didn't work. It was fucked from the beginning. But yeah, usually what I do is I play through it and then I write a script. But I see why that isn't as useful as, you know, taking notes while I'm playing the game, because then at least I'd have, you know, recordings of a moment in time I might have forgotten about. So if I write something in retrospect about something, obviously I'm not gonna remember everything. So maybe I should do that as well. Maybe I should try and see if I can, if I want to make a video about a game or something, if I can try and take notes on the side while I'm actually playing, because that seems actually useful. I don't know, it just seems like it's incompatible with my brain, with how my brain works, but I should at least try it at some point. So yeah, and if it works, I'm gonna give all the credit to Painticus. I'm not gonna write it down right now, because once it's time to give my thanks, I won't have any documents to look back on, and I'll forget that it came from Painticus. So yeah, that's how I win. How I will never have to give credit for anything and claim it was all me. Yeah. By fucking making myself trip on purpose. Damn, no, that's some fucking commitment, boys, and boys without penises. That's the commitment of being me. Yeah. I gotta stop the recording because for some reason it happened twice already. Once the recording goes over a certain amount of time, it for some reason doesn't record audio from the video anymore. I don't know why. I cannot figure it out, so I'll just, you know, split them up into parts. So I'm gonna end it right here and I'll be back in a second. Well, you won't even know, but for me it'll be part 2, because that's how I'm gonna split it up. Yeah, I just call it part 1, part 2, part 3, you know, just to keep it simple and easy, so I know which one is first, right? Yeah, helps when editing videos. I'm a genius. I'm a god. I'm a god. Yeah, I'm a god with a small penis and huge balls. I am the one who comes. I am the fuck bag. Yeah, it's me. Aceox. Alright, so I just had an interesting idea. Hear me out. Hear me out, boys. No, this sounds so weird. My idea is I'm having issues collecting my thoughts and producing proper sentences. And I realized, you know, my senses are a little bit weird. If one of my senses is impaired, then for some reason affects other senses or other functions of myself. Not even just my brain, but everything about me. And the issue is I keep my headphones on whenever I pause and talk, and maybe it'll help if I just, you know, decide to put them down. Put them down! Get rid of them from fucking free my ears. Free up my ears, my hearing senses. And maybe I'll be able to produce proper sentences. That would be cool. Maybe it's wishful thinking of me, but it could be. Because at least I'll hear when I talk weird, you know, when I stumble over words, which I sometimes don't hear when I have my headphones on, because they're really good at noise cancellation and shit like that. So yeah. So I'm gonna try this in this video, and I'll see at the end. Maybe I'll do this from now on, and it would be cool if that helps with me myself finishing a sentence properly and thinking ahead of my brain, or rather thinking ahead of my mouth. You know, being able to think up on my sentence before I even say it. That would be cool. That would be cool. Maybe it works that way, maybe it doesn't. I'll find out today here on Dragon Ball Z. Dragon Balls. That's what the Z stands for. It's not Dragon Ball Z, it's Dragon Balls. Yeah, bitches. But yeah, okay, so yeah, I'm back. Just wanted to let you know I'm trying out this. Maybe it'll help, maybe it doesn't. We'll see, I guess. In the end, I feel like I am missing a lot of context in this video, which is definitely my fault. I should have probably looked up whether or not he made a video about scratches, and maybe I should have watched this one first. But you know, this happens sometimes. Sometimes we pick stuff without really knowing what it is about, and then realize, damn, I should have watched something else first. But we're here for it. So far, I understand the protagonist in this game isn't with the workers. He is just a random dude that shows showed up and wanted to explore stuff, and they let him for some reason. And he sees the past, maybe? Sees scenes from the past and interacts with people from the past somehow. I don't know how that works. And he seems to go crazy because he's gonna stab himself in his brain and stuff. That's just all I got from that. So, yeah. And also it doesn't help that he's trying to keep it spoiler free, because I'm missing too much context. I'm missing way too much context to understand all the references and whatever the fuck he's talking about, because I miss like 50 layers of prerequisite information I need to understand it. But maybe, hear me out, let me cook you some fucking chicken breasts. Maybe that is the part that we don't understand, that we feel like we're going crazy, that we don't fully grasp the situation at hand. After all, this game takes place in an insane asylum. Think about that. Now, wouldn't that make a lot more sense than whatever the fuck it actually is? I'm a genius. I am. You cannot deny it now, so fuck you. I proved I'm a fucking genius, bitch. Maybe the insane asylum was in all of us all along. That was not the correct saying, I think, but I'll leave it at that. Shut the fuck up, Aceox. How many times do I have to tell you yet? And still, you haven't learned. Why do you keep yapping about stuff no one cares about? Shut the fuck up. No one cares, bitch. You wanna suck some dick? That's the only thing Aceox is known for. Yeah. Let's suck some dick and eat some ass. On the side, on the rocks, drink some poo-poo juice. Now that would be swell. That would be scrumptious. That would be awesome. Alright, let's continue.
A letter and a patient record. But I also missed a lot of conversations, apparently. People tended to move around and disappear a lot as the hours moved on, so they must have some pretty sneaky dialogue in there that I missed. And I wasn't skimming over stuff or rushing through the game, so that did surprise me. I only got stuck at one point, and that was me being dumb and not looking at the floor for a puzzle. And overall, the game—
Who looks at the floor for a puzzle?
Adventure game Moon Logic, which is very nice. It's substantially less complex than Scratches when it comes to puzzles, and I believe most people will be able to beat this without any kind of walkthrough, without much trouble or frustration whatsoever.
Okay, so it's not
less
difficult.
Ominous and scary than Scratches was, but it had a more compelling story, and thanks to its well-made puzzles, it had better pacing as well. My gut reaction would be to say that I still prefer Scratches, but I'd need time to think about it for a while. If you're interested in playing the game, I do have some advice for you. Do not speak to everyone about every topic unless you're hunting for some fun Easter eggs or otherwise entertaining responses. You will save yourself a lot of time by only really bringing up topics that you think someone will actually know about. So don't ask the security guard about medical procedures, and don't ask the new receptionist about the history of obscure therapy groups. That kind of thing. In fact, the conversations only really give you necessary information a handful of times, but it's still worth discussing things in depth for story and world-building purposes. The writing is excellent, basically across the entire game, so you won't be wasting your time. Though I do have one gripe. There are two major characters in the game called Dr. Hanwell and Dr. Hawthorne. These names are too similar. I'm a weak-minded child, I get confused.
Yeah, I'd confuse them too, to be honest.
Asylum into the mix, and it's all a little too much.
John Asylum.
Some other criticisms for the game. Sometimes the hallways have a few too many spots to stop at while you're moving around, especially given there's often not much to see there. And that can make the very necessary tracking a little tedious at times.
What the fuck, man?
The puzzle item, you have to scroll through the items one by one, which is...
that's insane! Asylum!
I wish we could just select them from the notepad. Some people won't like the almost retro use of pre-rendered scenes, but I think it captures a certain feeling of old-school adventures, which
it adds to the charm,
and largely succeeds at. The music is quite a lot more subtle than both Scratches and even its own older demos, and personally I love quite prominent music. If music be the food of horror, crank that shit, babe, but I can also see the argument for more subtlety. And then there's the quite aged elephant in the room regarding how long the game took to come out. Does it feel like a game that's been in development for what, minimum 15 years?
Jesus, that's a long time.
To be fair, I have no idea what a 15-year development game would actually look like. So was it worth the wait? For me, I've had a lot of other stuff going on, and I haven't really been, actively waiting for it. So it's not really up to me to decide that. There are people who supported the game on Kickstarter over a decade ago, and I reckon they'd be the people to ask. The whole development of the game is a video in its own right, but for now, all that matters to me is that it's finally out. It's certainly not a game for everyone, but that goes for the entire point-and-click genre. It was
Yeah,
the same with
sure, it's very niche.
despite it being so widely loved. And Asylum was very much for me. I loved it. At some point down the line,
But that's a good
I'd like
thing.
to speak more analytically about the game, especially regarding some of its influences and spoiling it entirely in the process, but for now, I just wanted to get a review out and encourage anyone who may be interested to buy it and play it. It's a great time. Now, if you get the chance to play the game, please look out for the asbestos reference. I know it's in there somewhere. I need it. And before I finish the video, I want to show you all something. I'm not usually one to pick on negative Steam reviews. I'm not that insecure about the things I like, but this one did crack me up. This guy bought the game day one and was among the first to review it, so I can only assume he was following it at some level, and he was shocked to find out that it was a point-and-click game. It's in
Damn.
the trailer, it's on the store page, it's in the tags, it's
Some people, man.
the material. How's he managed that? Oh, and I've not
Some
managed to fit
people.
this in anywhere else, so I'll cap off the video with this. Asylum? I hardly know him.
Nah. Nah. I won't let you have that one. The others, okay, yeah. But that one, no. Alright. Alright, anything else? No? Okay. Alright. Put on all my headphones, yeah. Alright, so, yeah, my bad. I should have probably looked up stuff about scratches first, because he talked a lot about that, and I miss pretty much any kind of prerequisite knowledge about that game. So, all the references I didn't get, and whenever he was comparing it to scratches, I don't know. Did he show gameplay of that? Because everything looked like it's part of the same game, from the art style and everything, so I guess not. But yeah, still good video. His humor every now and then catches me off guard, because he's talking very, I'd say, very composed, and then suddenly he makes a funny voice and says something I totally don't expect, like the John Asylum. That came out of nowhere. So yeah, I really like that. But yeah, still good video. Interesting game. Doesn't seem to be my type, to be honest. Like I said, the horror point and click I think works very well, but it's too much for me. But I don't know, so far it did not really seem like horror I expected, like kind of supernatural horror or something like that. It seems more grounded in reality. Maybe he left out some supernatural parts. Maybe that's the spoiler stuff. I don't know. Maybe it is a grounded sort of experience, but that doesn't scratch an itch I have, because I don't find reality, especially in that regard, scary. I find it depressing. I just find it depressing, frustrating, aggravating, you know, knowing that these places were real. They did some fucked up shit to people just because they're considered crazy. I mean, back in the day, I keep saying back in the day as if I was alive during those times, but I wasn't. But I mean, it was back in the day, it was back in the past. I mean, the past of humanity. It's crazy how people justified putting other people into places like that and doing these things to them. It's aggravating, it's frustrating, it's sad, I don't find it scary. It's just another proof that humanity is fucked. There's no other way to put it, it's fucked. Humanity is fucked in the head, man. So yeah, I probably won't check out the game. I don't know, it doesn't seem to be my type. But it's interesting nonetheless. Yeah, unfortunately, point and click games aren't that prevalent anymore. They're kind of gone. They're gone, and I thought they'd never return, but apparently they do sometimes, which is cool. And there was also this hotel game. I don't know what the name is, but it was a live action thing, and it was really well done. It blew my mind, because I'm used to the old point and click stuff, and that was really limited. And then seeing the hotel horror thing, and also this, that you have a kind of sort of free look, which is actually really cool. I did not think that works, but now that I think about it, yeah, it makes sense. Why wouldn't it work? But yeah, it looks interesting and sounds interesting. That's definitely, but it's not my type. It's just not my type. But the video was good. The parts I understood, the parts I didn't understand are my fault though. I should have quickly checked if I need some prerequisite information first about something else, which seems like I did. I should have done that, but yeah, you live and learn, you make mistakes, you break your leg and cut it off and then reattach it. That's how you move on from mistakes you make. That's how it works. And then you eat your own leg and it regrows back, and it's a whole process. Yeah, so this video, Asylum, is finally here was by Painticus. He makes good videos. I like his humor, especially his humor. It comes so out of nowhere and is so unexpectedly simple sometimes that it just catches me off guard, and it's really good. It's really good. I like it. Yeah, so like always, go into the video description, click the first link in the video description under the credits tab to get to the original video by Painticus. Leave him a like, leave him a comment, tell him the Asylum was the friends we made along the way. That was the true insane. Tell him that, write that, and obviously subscribe to him. He deserves it. He makes some good videos. So, and before I continue with my talk, like I've been doing recently, I'm writing my own comment. Hell yeah, good video. Maybe that I should have informed myself about scratches first, but oh well, you did a great job, me boy. Job. Sponge, me boy. It is good to see that horror point and click games are somewhat still a thing. I loved them during the Flash game era. Keep up the work, bro. Love your stuff. Smiley face. Comment down. I'm not even gonna reread it to see if I made a mistake, cause that's the AceoX way. It is my way or my highway. There's no other things. There's no in between. Only A and A plus. No B, no C. No in between A and B. No, A and A plus. Yeah, there's only one choice, and that choice is me. In my comment section down below, tell me what you want me to react to next. Maybe another video by Painticus, maybe by someone else, for something else, about something else, being maybe a fucking dicks and vaginas. Yeah, maybe, I don't know, you tell me. But try to make it specific, like for example give me a video title I can look up, because if it's about a topic I'm unfamiliar with, I don't know what's good and what isn't. In this case, I had no idea about scratches, so I only got half the experience. That's why I need you to give me something specific, so I know what to look out for, right? Or I can look up videos myself, like I've been doing mostly on this channel. I feel like today, due to my own mistake, I broke my perfect track record of picking stuff that it being perfect right from the get-go, because I picked something and I had the chance to go back and watch the video first, but I didn't, so it was my mistake. I broke my own goddamn perfect streak, man. God damn it, now I can't keep sucking myself off for having a perfect streak. Yeah, AceoX has a perfect streak when picking random videos. No, I don't. It was still a good video, like I said. Or I can pick out something myself. I just, you know, pick something that looks or sounds interesting and just hope for the best. Or I can do both. Just let me know which one you prefer, and I'm happy to oblige either way. Alright, this has been the Small Penis Man. Small Penis Man out. I'm scratching an itch in my asylum. Oh, I think I'm having amnesia. The dog descent. I'm gonna outlast every one of you. Too bad about the alien. I'm isolation with. I'm in isolation with. There we go. That's a sentence. Yeah, kind of reminds me of when my penumbra was itchy. God damn it. Ah yeah, I miss those times when I explored this creepy silent hill in a Resident of Evil, and then I heard a siren, and guess what? Guess! That's right, I'm not going to finish this thought. My brain is fried, okay? I don't know, it's hot today. I fucked myself over. I'm struggling. But it seems like I'm doing a lot better now that I have my headphones all the way down on my dick. But I gotta stop playing with it. Not with my dick. I'm gonna keep playing with it. But playing with the headphones while I have them down there, because I think the mic is gonna pick it up and it's gonna probably sound annoying or weird or both. But I'm hoping none of them. But that's wishful thinking. Bye.